Peace from Black Power Family. Welcome to another episode of Do Knowledge Radio, place where knowledge is born. This is your host, Knowledge Born a Lot, and we see who we got back in the building. You understand what I'm saying? We got our brother Yah'ya, aka TankHead Shaun, in the building to come lace us up and give us some experiential wisdom. So, let's welcome back to the platform. Hopefully we get a series before he go big. You understand? Hopefully we can get a series. You know what I'm saying? Something once a month for my brother. By the grace of Allah. You know what I'm saying? To come back through and touch bases with us once a month until he launches his platform. So let's welcome back to the platform, esteemed brother Yah'ya. Peace out, man. How you feeling?
Good, man. I appreciate that. You already know, man. Once I get it situated, I'm definitely coming back.
Right.
We always got to take care of home. That's important.
Right.
Home and the communities from where we come from is, essential in any type of growth and development.
That's right.
So in that regard, I had asked to come back on the platform because of all the hoopla that I'm seeing on social media and also hearing in the street about this, this shenanigans with the rapper guy 6ix9ine.
Right.
How people, so loosely, applying that term. He's a rat, he's a snitch. I mean, he self-proclaimed to be what he is. It is what it is. But in that regard, the context is a little bit more bigger, and it's unpopular to speak to the topic that I want to speak on today because a lot of people try and find ways to justify or righting a wrong, but a wrong is a wrong and a right is a right. And in that regard, when we look at, how we are applying this term, rat, really it's an extension or, it's spawned from a breach of an agreement between consenting individuals to embark upon a criminal enterprise. And so if you got two individuals who consciously make a pact to break the law while taking into consideration the risk and the consequences and the rewards if they get busted or if they get away, then those individuals are held accountable to the bond that they created between each other and themselves. And so when we look at the situation with the 6ix9ine guy, I mean, off the rip, whoever recruited him inside the organization that he was a part and parcel to, or the organization that he was representing, there was some type of a breakdown, or a misunderstanding in the recruiting process. Because we don't judge a book by its cover. But I mean, when you have a discerning eye, one could visually see that this kid 6ix9ine was not really built for the lifestyle that he was professing to be a part of. And so in that regard, when they brought him in, it would have been genius in the beginning to bring him in, to use his platform as a way to expose the brand in a positive light with regard to the organization that he was representing. But while you bring in this person upon a team, we all know that a team is consisted of many different members on the team. And each individual member on the team has an individual role to play. That's the reason why we have captains of teams and, the co-captain of teams. And so a co-captain or a captain wouldn't play a role as would a regular member of a team. That's just not how the team functions. And so in that regard, when they brought this guy upon their platform or brought him into the embrace of the organization that they represent, I'm quite sure that it was for a given purpose. However, whatever, in managing or keeping the team in its proper perspective, there was a breakdown along the way when they embraced this guy so deep into the fold that he became privy to what it is that they were doing in regards to criminal or alleged criminal activity. So now when he gets busted, he can't stand the rain. Every man has his or her breaking point. I don't care who you are or what you've come from, where you've been or what you've done. Everybody has a breaking point. I once read a book by a brother named Flores Forbes, and he was a part of Huey P. Newton's personal detail called the Samurai. And he said inside the book that Huey P. Newton once told him that if he ever got arrested, he didn't want Flores Forbes and the rest of the cadre to let him know or his wife know where the stash places were at with intelligence or maybe their arsenal, so that because if he's put under pressure, he wouldn't be able to have any type of information that can harm his personal detail. So when Flores Forbes asked Huey P. Newton, but you the supreme commander, it's necessary for us to let you know where we at and what kind of states that we are in while you are trapped within the belly of the beast. Huey said no. He said, because every man has his breaking point, and I don't know how much I can withstand before I reach mine. So the least that I know about you guys, the least harm I can bring to you guys. The unseeing mind or the unintelligible person would automatically think that Huey had tendencies of being a snitch or a rat. You see what I'm saying? But in all actuality, he was speaking from a mature standpoint, letting his subordinates know that in the reality of life, it's only but so much that an individual can withstand before he reaches crumbling point. And so in that regard, with the 6'9" guy, like I said, I mean, the discerning eye can see that he wasn't built like that, man. This cat is a little pretty boy, and then he's foolish minded. You understand what I'm saying? So what he was exposed to, really at the detriment of the organization, it was there for having exposed him to that. They were supposed to keep him inside the lane that they brought him on board to occupy. You see what I'm saying? To build and to exploit the brand from a positive standpoint. You see what I'm saying? Once he got pinched, then now, his whole life flashes before him. The successes that he had inside the music industry, all of that flashes before him. And so now when he's pitted against that, the first thing he thinks about is saving himself, which is how a breach of bond or a breach of pact between conscious and consenting people who embark upon criminal enterprises are confronted by when one of them or both of them get caught. The first thing they think about is how much money they're going to lose, and, in his regard, his fame, how it's going to, wrap around, the robe or the garment that he was encloaked in with regard to being a rap superstar. So the boy didn't want to lose that. I mean, and in the reality of life, who would when you reach that level of success? Not justifying what he did in no way. He's a self-proclaimed rat. I can't take that away from him. Nevertheless, because he was put in a situation that he was not able to, stand firm in, the first thing he started thinking about is selling out those who put him in that predicament in the first place. And that's the breach of the bond between individuals. A rat is not necessarily a sucker or a punk or a coward. A rat is somebody who's selfish. Selfish to the extent that he will sell everybody out, even his mama, even his newborn baby, to save his own hide. You understand what I'm saying? So in that regard, those who recruited him must share in some of the blame to what we have today. You see, and it's pathetic in my eyes to see this, because after 26 years doing time in the penitentiary, 26 straight years, 10 toes down on my own term. Nevertheless, I lost my mother while I was in prison. I didn't raise my two sons while I was away. Friendships and relationships between people who I thought were family and friends, withered, waned, disintegrated, and left. You understand what I'm saying? And I felt every one of those 26 years, day by day, each day I felt that. You see what I'm saying? And so I'm coming home after doing 26 years, holding it down. I had to sit down for 26 years for something that I didn't do. And I come home and I'm presented with a person like 6ix9ine who's on YouTube or wherever he was at, talking some stuff about nah, I'm the rat and I got the bag, and all the real niggas out there, I know y'all hate me because y'all out there struggling, y'all real, y'all keeping it real, but look at me, I'm the rat and I got the bag. I mean, how pathetic is that? Because now what would make someone of a conscious mind, of a knowing mind, look at everything that he sacrificed, everything that he put in, you see what I'm saying, just go down the drain to come home and see people inheriting the things that we were safeguarding, so to speak, bragging about being a rat. And so in this endeavor, what I'm hoping to, impart to those who are listening, but also importantly to those who are paying attention, is that we are, I'm not going to say blindly, because we know right from wrong. We are consciously engaging in activities, criminal activities that are doing nothing but tearing down our own communities, man. You know what I'm saying? Like a person to say, well, if you in the street and if it ain't got nothing to do with you, hear no evil, see no evil, mind your business. But if you are from that community where these criminal activities are taking place, how is that not your business? You see, one day is this person's brother. The next day is the next person's sister. I mean, who or what determines when it will be you and yours? So in minding your business, I mean, something has to be done, because we just can't let a predator roam around in our community. We just can't allow that. That's like letting a tiger out of a zoo and just letting him into your community and just have at it. And you see him, destroying the community, killing people, and you just sitting back and say, as long as he ain't coming over here where I live, or he ain't coming in front of my building, it's okay. But it's really not okay, because if he's destroying members in the community, this is taking down the community and piecemeal, but also in its totality. You see, and so now we got two choices to choose from. Either we gonna turn them into the police, or we gonna go ahead and get with them. And when I say get with them, I'm talking about putting them down. You understand what I'm saying? So now if we put them down, we run the risk of going to the penitentiary for the rest of our lives for this knucklehead who's trying to take it to an extent that we're not trying to go to. Or we run the risk of turning them in and then be labeled as a rat. Our lives are now in jeopardy, and also our family and friends. You see what I'm saying? So somewhere within the spectrum, we got to figure out a way how we can address these ills, these social ills, these community ills. You see what I'm saying? And keep them in check before they become too far and gone beyond our reach, which is what we're seeing here right now with the 6ix9ine thing. You see what I'm saying? What he's doing, you see what I'm saying, should court no honor or glory and no respect. Whether he was really a gangster or not, he still sat down and pointed the finger at those who will now be subjected to the scourge of this system that we know is just corrupt. But in also speaking to that, and not to justify anything that he did, we also must look at those who were around him. He gave these guys a golden opportunity to make a living for themselves and their family. He gave these guys a golden opportunity to come up out of the impoverished communities that they are from. Yet, while he was doing that, these dudes were scheming on having sex with his baby mother, making death threats to his mother, allegedly even kidnapped the mother. So now here it is, you already got a soft guy, through and through, a part of what you're doing. And now you sleeping with his baby mother, you know what I'm saying? You kidnapped his mother allegedly. You understand what I'm saying? And this is the same dude that was giving you a seat at his table. He wasn't obligated to do that. He invited these guys. For whatever his reason were, he allowed these guys to sit at his table. And so they eating his food while stabbing him in the back at the same time. Nah, if the rat ain't no good, then neither is the snake. Why? A snake can sell you out, stab you in the back just as quick as a rat would. So what's the difference? I hear people say, well, that's how it goes. We in the street, this the game. He got to go up north and hold that down. If his baby mom's out here acting like a thot, you know what I'm saying? She busting it open. He got to hold that down. But nah, homie. Because if we get in these rules, which I don't really know why we even subscribe to them, because they're backwards, outdated, and they're detrimental to the community as a whole. But a lot of people like to replicate the code of the street in juxtaposition to how the mob used to move, the code of old murder. You see what I'm saying? But the differentiating factor in that regard is with the mob. If you held it down and you took the weight and you went up top, they took care of your family. They took care of you throughout the whole bit. and they made sure you had legal representation. They made sure they crossed every T and dotted every I. And I am no big fan of the mob in no way. I ain't bigging them up in no way. I'm only speaking to it as it is. Yet in the street where we come from, soon as one of us get busted, not only a dude is trying to sleep with my baby mother, but he trying to holler at my sister. He see my mama every day, ain't never trying to give her $2 to send to me. Yo, here, get this the boy, man. Tell him I said I got something else coming for him. You know what I'm saying? Then after a stretch, if I left the kid out there, you know, it's not even shocking anymore to see when I come home that my crimer who I sat down and took the weight for, them put drugs in my kid hand. He got my kid on the corner selling drugs. You see him saying, or he might put a grip in his waist, man, and let him run around and get in trouble in the community with it. All of that stuff right there is counterproductive and self-destructive to where and what we come from. You understand what I'm saying? And because it's an unpopular topic to speak about, a lot of people shy away from it. You know, I find it rather ironic how Jay-Z can point his finger and wag it at the game and talk about how impeccably he, you know, moved through the streets when he was out there in the streets. Yet he turned around and called Sean Puffy Combs a personal friend. And so why am I speaking to that? Sean Puffy Combs, to anybody who knows, inadvertently or indirectly had his witness at trial come to trial, remove the gun from Sean Puffy Combs' hand and put it in Sean's hand. He put it in Sean's hand. So indirectly, Puffy told on Sean and sent Sean up top. That's just the fact. Anybody know anything about criminal procedure law and the judicial system knows that in a trial proceeding, a defendant is not calling no witness to his defense unless he first know what that witness is going to go on and stand and say for. You see what I'm saying? So when Sean Puffy Combs called the security guard that worked in the club that night when that alleged shootout happened, that involved him, Sean, and J-Lo was caught in morass of it or whatever the case may be, Puffy had his witness come in and point the finger at Sean while exonerating Puffy. So at the end of the day, Puffy was part and parcel to Sean catching that bid and going up north. But yet Jay-Z wanted to turn around and talking about dudes who was a stand-up nigga, but now they sit down and aim. I mean, like, how dare he? And that's detrimental in the sense that people still are influenced by his story. People are still influenced by his journey, you know? And then at the end of the day, they go, well, he got to be doing something right because he getting to that bag. I mean, so what? Because you get to that bag, that means you still got integrity. How many people that we know have sold their entire souls for a bag of money, man? You know, it speaks about that inside all the religious books. You know, people who sell their souls for bags of money. How a camel will pass through the eye of a needle before these mercenaries are able to see paradise. You understand what I'm saying? And so in that regard, this topic needs to be spoken to. You see what I'm saying? Unpopular or not. You see what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, it's our own hide that we trying to say. You know, this kid here, 6'9", he is what he is. But them cats around him, they must share in some of that blame. What? He was supposed to end up like the kid Pop Smoke? Because let the streets tell it that's how it happened. Pop Smoke on crew did him in. You understand what I'm saying? And if we don't begin to address that, you know, I mean, we are just doomed going forward. That's the reason why the police out there, you know, all these different, you know, racial communities that are in our community are killing us, beating us down, and financially exploiting us. Because they see that we don't have no backbone, man. You know what I'm saying? We lip profess it, yo, man, you brothers need to get it together. But at the end of the day, ain't nobody doing nothing, man. Because it's hypocritical to tell them young brothers and sisters to get off them corners from drug dealing and prostituting and pimping and robbing and killing when we ain't got no alternatives to offer. You need an alternative. You must have an alternative to offer someone when you tell them to come off the streets from hustling. Because remember, hustling, prostituting, you know what I'm saying, taking contracts inside the streets, all of those are crimes of economics. People are doing those because they don't have enough money to make ends meet. They don't have enough money to survive. And so they go to the street with this, brilliant idea that if I bag up some drugs and sell it to the crackheads that's coming in and out of the community, then I can stack up, get me a car, take care of my family. But the primary impetus or the motivating factor in that regard is poverty and want. Wherever you see poverty, you're gonna see crime. High percentages of poverty, high percentages of crime. They are, twin from the same womb, man. You understand what I'm saying? They are interchangeable. You can't have one without the other. You see what I'm saying? And so just us addressing the symptoms of what we see in people or in the reflection of those like 6ix9ine, you see what I'm saying? It's cool because we can identify what the problem is, but it's necessity. It's an imperative that we address the core problem. You understand what I'm saying? Years ago, I seen a documentary when dudes, wanted to take photo ops with the cat Freeway Ricky Ross out of LA. Which was like a smack in the black community face, because here it is, you had the sister Maxine Waters, the congresswoman out there, who unearthed the paperwork that showed that the CIA and the FBI was in cahoots with each other to go and commission somebody from the inner cities, the urban communities, the ghetto, to supply them with that crack cocaine madness so that they could be able to decimate a population of people. That is a fact. You read any of the books along the lines of COINTELPRO or Spitting in the Wind or anything like that, that is a documented fact. That they went and intentionally commissioned a guy like Ricky Ross, Freeway Ricky Ross, loaded him up with drugs, had him in the community like he's some Robin Hood, getting money, giving back to the community, when in all actuality, that was a plan designed to decimate a people, man, and its community. You see what I'm saying? And so at some point, man, someone needs to speak to that, whatever the gang affiliation might have been with the guy 6ix9ine. Someone needs to really speak to that, because 6ix9ine is just exposed. Imagine the many others like him who are not exposed. The hip hop police, smoke a blunt with you, line something up with you. Then at the end of the day, whip out the badge and then arrest you. You see, I was listening to a video that one of my men sent me yesterday by a brother named Choke or something like that. And he was, pointing out the irony of how T.I. now is running around like a chicken with his head cut off, asking people allegedly to take down the posts about 6ix9ine being a rat. But yet, this cat get knocked with a Rambo arsenal. Body armor, everything, night vision, goggles, silencers, everything, and get a year, bro. A year in jail, man. You see what I'm saying? The powers that be don't really care about our issue, and they use our own kind. They use our own kind, man. The Panthers used to call them jackanates, man. You see what I'm saying? Just because you are in the garb of those who are in the struggle don't really mean that you are of those from the struggle, man. You see what I'm saying? Like they say, in the lessons back in the days, ain't nothing worse. There's no kind of more worse devil than the black devil. And that's not to take a shot at our own people. I love my people. I love me. My people are a reflection and an extension of who I am. It would be, totally impossible for me to say I love myself and not what looks like me, what moves like me. You understand what I'm saying? But nevertheless, we have to be circumspect of those who are easier, inclined to penetrate our cipher, because we only gonna let those who we believe or who we perceive that looks like us and that moves like us. And so that which makes that black devil the worst kind of devil, because we ain't gonna see him coming. You see what I'm saying? Once we see the op in color, we already know, nah, you don't belong over here. But we are blinded. It's camouflage. You see what I'm saying? When it comes in what looks like us. You see what I'm saying? And I say that to say, T.I., the boy not right. How you gonna even, have the audacity to even speak to something like that when your whole head is just twisted, man. Same thing with the boy Meek Mill. You know, I like Meek. I like him. He young. I like him, man. I like his energy, man. You know, I have the discerning eye, man. I know what to listen for. I know what to look for. I like the kid Meek. You know what I'm saying? But he was totally remiss for dogging the kid 6ix9ine out when the female Desiree Perez, who's a part of his entourage and management in some form or fashion, you see what I'm saying, wore a wire, man, for the DEA to bring down other people inside a criminal enterprise. You can't do that, man. You can't. You can't point the finger at somebody and say shame on you when those who are among you have done or are doing the same thing, man. You just can't do that. You understand? And so in that regard, you know, 6ix9ine, yeah, he's, you know, contemporarily now wearing the face of what a rap looks like. Ain't no question. He's self-professed, self-proclaimed. I can't take that from him. He's basking in the glory of being Mickey Mouse. That's what he's into. You see what I'm saying? But it's dangerous and it's very detrimental to those who are paying attention, especially the youth, man, the kids in our communities, man, because they looking at him like, wow, they kidnapped his mother. They slept with his baby mother. Wow. What he was supposed to do. He wasn't supposed to got down with none of that stuff from the jump. But 9 times out of 10, when people do find themselves looking to belong to gangs or with gangs, is because it's something that's missing in their lives, and they're looking for that welcoming embrace, that sense of family. And we all are susceptible to, you know, the emotion of want or desire, especially when something is missing in our lives. You see what I'm saying? That's just a natural, you know, response to something that's, you know, missing within us. And so 9 times out of 10, when kids go to the gang, they look for a sense of embrace, a sense of belonging. You know, just doing 26 years in the penitentiary, I ain't see more talented people than people who are a part of gangs, man. You know, it's just the way they are channeling it, you know, and the lane that they are in is really counterproductive to what they are aspiring towards. You see what I'm saying? And so 6ix9ine is far gone. Like we can't bring him back. We can't. Once you do it once, you are susceptible to do it always. Not only that, the feds is gonna always be on his body, and you know how it go. Dudes in the street gonna want to see him when they do. So that one is lost. Shorty lost. You see what I'm saying? But I want to be able to stand on this platform and speak to those who still, you know, possess the potential, man, that redeemable quality of being able to bring them back before they get too far gone, before they end up having to do 26 years like me for a crime that I didn't even do inside the penitentiary. And I'm not saying that I was a saint when I was out here. I was misguided, just like a lot of them are, you know, bugging, doing all type of crazy stuff. People that know me can personally attest to that. Like, I'm not one of these rappers or one of these, you know, dudes writing screenplays and pushing them off to, you know, a Brett Raffner, them, or Lee Dan using them so they could put it on Empire and all that crap. You understand? Saying, like, I really was in them streets and really seen some things and did some things that I'm not even proud of. You know, by the grace of Allah, I was able to go through the penitentiary and while in there, still cutting up, man, still bugging, you know, until a premonition happened upon me that I really sat down and began to take stock on life, and then my life and how I'm related to the grander scheme of things. You understand what I'm saying? And so I will, you know, hope that my coming to this platform, you know, pits the spotlight, you know, on those who we know and identify with as being the redeemable ones in our community, because those are the ones that we can save. Those are the ones that we could pull to the side and go, nah, baby, bro, nah, little sis. You know what I'm saying? Like, they got a cage waiting for you, man. You see what I'm saying? All that glitters ain't gold, man. It ain't no pot of gold at the end of that rainbow. I personally can attest to that. When they let me out the penitentiary on March 25th, 2020, God told me, yo, exit door left. as if I was just coming on a visit. Exit door left, and this is after 26 years of not being a part of this world. He said, exit door left. And when I got out there, my 2 sons was there, my homegirl was there, and they was there to embrace me. It wasn't no $1 million, check there, pot of gold, man. A bad broad, looked like Nicki Minaj, stretch limo, with a 26 stand-up year, a figure of the year award. I didn't get none of that. We jumped in the V and we got on up out of there, man, after 26 years. You understand? And so those who are pursuing that pot of gold at the end of that, mythical rainbow, it ain't the pot of gold not there. What you will find on that side is dudes like 6ix9ine. What you will find on that side is dudes like the character Tupac played Bishop inside the movie Juice. Bishop was a snake. Flat out, Bishop was a snake. He killed this man over some frivolous stuff. A disagreement, killed him in cold blood. After that, he went to the kid's mama's, he went to the kid's funeral and hugged the kid's mama, man. Looked his mom's in the face and gave her an embrace, man. I was home when that movie came out. I believe that was like 1990, 91. And I remember dudes saying, yo, man, that's gangster, man. Tupac, that's official, man. Body the dude. Went to his funeral and hugged his mom. You see, but when I became a man with a higher, a level of consciousness and understanding, I look at Juice now and say Tupac was a cancer, man. Tupac was a piece of shit. Bishop, not Tupac himself. The stories with him, I ain't even getting into that. But as an artist, I dug the kid. I don't think he put nobody in prison either. Nevertheless, the Bishop character was a piece of crap, man. A piece of crap. You kill your friend and then you go to his wake and hug his mother. Nah, homie, that is not gangster. And whoever believes that stuff like that is what makes a gangster a G, or what makes a gangster stand up, you are hopelessly deluded in what a stand-up man is about, man. You understand what I'm saying? And so, this is like a scourge that's on the Black community, unfortunately, because we are sworn to secrecy. We are sworn to keep people secrets who we know and see are out in our community doing things to destroy it. It's a scourge, man. It's a scourge. It's an infliction, man. But it's a way that we can remedy it. Not to be preachy, because that's not what I'm into, but it's a way, man. We got to learn how to begin pooling our resources, man. You understand what I'm saying? Developing the potential as we see it and when we see it. You understand what I'm saying? So now we can have, budding pillars in our community that when they rise, they can hold a community up. You see, I see the brothers doing it, with the Man Up and the SOS and the GMAT. It's a start with that. You understand what I'm saying? Because they are intervening. They are working as a buffer zone. You see what I'm saying? Within the community to keep the brothers and sisters from tearing each other and themselves down. And so I give them a recognition and applause for going out on a limb and doing something like that. It's like we seeing a rebirth of the guardian angel. You see what I'm saying? With a socio-political agenda, these brothers can expand a platform expansively. You see what I'm saying? Because they are on the right track. We need to find ways that will remedy the problem and opposed to add on to the problem. You see, and the start is addressing these backward and destructive codes that we are living by in the street, man. We from the same community. I don't have, you don't have. So I come up with this brilliant idea, go get me some crack cocaine, and I'm selling the crack to your sister in order to justify feeding my moms. Nah, man, no. With those same type of energies that we are applying towards doing something negative, we have to apply them towards doing something positive. We have to. What's the start? Getting to learn your city councilman. What's another start? When brothers and sisters out there protesting racial violence and you know, social injustices, man, you know, meet people, you know, come up with plans, man. You know what I'm saying? It's construction going all around America right now, all around it, the roads, all type of stuff. Find a way in, be it through union, city councilman, or anything, and demand, you know, a piece of the budget that will empower your zone. And opposed to just allowing gentrification to run rampant, speak to it, speak out against it, because we need jobs in our communities as well. Because you cannot tell somebody not to hustle and you ain't got an alternative for them to be able to get some money. That's just not going to happen. Not in the reality of life, it isn't. You know, 6ix9ine had a talent, man. Dude seen it. They misappropriated it. They misrepresented it, but they seen it and they welcomed him aboard. Once you got a jewel like that, you keep all that other slime at bay, man. You don't need all the pebbles, man, and suited, you know, chipped off pieces of rock when you got that diamond inside your clutch. Now your main focus and endeavor should be able to make that diamond shine more brilliantly and brighter than it already is, man. You know, you don't want to put the diamond and keep it inside of, you know, a pile of pebbles and, you know what I'm saying, soot and sand and rock. Nah, that's not what you want to do. Those dudes misapplied their efforts and misrepresented that jewel when it was given to them. I mean, you know, for subjective reasons and purposes, you know, he proved to be what he is a piece of shit. But at the end of the day, they could have staved them, you know, kept all of that away from him. All of that could have been staved off. You see what I'm saying? But we are living in a time, man, where a rat is vilified, but a snake is, you know, extolled. When at the end of the day, both of them are poison, man. Both of them. You know, and that's what I wanted to speak to, man. I wanted, you know, I know it's an unpopular topic, but it takes somebody like me to venture out on a limb. My credibility can't be tested on no front. You know, 10 toes down, the whole bit, the original TankHead. But you got another guy, you know, he likes to run around with that name, and I ain't got nothing against him. You know what I'm saying? But in the street, you know, I established it. You know, some things I ain't proud about, but at the same time, man, you know, we don't throw the baby out with the bathwater, man. You know, the good or bad, I'm gonna wear it well. You see what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, stand up, I did that, man. I wasn't there to raise my 2 kids. I lost my mama while I was in the penitentiary. You know, my crime, he ain't have a thing to worry about. It wasn't a night that he had to lose sleep over whether I was going to crumble or not. Why? Because they brought him in the precinct with me when I got arrested for this case. He was in the same cell with me. 2 hours later, they let him go and took me upstairs. So my credibility can't be tested on no front in that regard. You know? And another thing I wanted to point out, a knowledge that I see a lot too. You know, the realm in which people are out in the street playing on is off kilter, because they pick and choose when it comes down to the rules. You understand what I'm saying? One dude they might label as being no good and he's a rat, scum of the earth. Another dude, they know that he's a rat, no good, scum of the earth, but if he get into that bag, like how they speak today, if he's getting money or he has something materialistic to offer, you see, an exception will be made to the rule as it applies to him. Not only that, he might be a violent cat. He might be a cat that dudes know he ain't no joke. He will blow your head off in a minute. It don't change the fact that he testified on somebody and put the dude upstate. But the rule is manipulated in that way. They pick and choose as to who the rule applies to. And once you begin picking and choosing, the rule no longer has integrity. Because it can't be the rule for some and not the rule for all. If you playing a game of chess and you say that touch and move is the rule that we go by, I don't care what you're doing. You can sneeze and end up smacking a piece off by accident. You touch that piece, you got to move that piece. You understand? But in this society and in this, within the realm of the quote unquote game that's in, that's at the core of street life, that rule of who's good and who's no good, or who stand up and who's not stand up, is manipulated all the way across the board. Exceptions are made to that rule in particular. And anytime you are making exceptions to a rule, that rule has no integrity. That rule is not intact. You see what I'm saying? And so this is what I'm speaking to when I'm saying these are backwards and detrimental codes. We have to leave that stuff alone. Because there are no winners in that. We are all losers in that, bro. We are all losers in that. And so whatever color you repping or hood you come from, at the end of the day, man, ain't nobody else is responsible to save you but you, man. Ain't nobody else doing it for us. You see it. You see it. The police is beating us up in the street. They killing us. You see what I'm saying? All different types of races and nationalities are in our communities exploiting us for our dollars, while we out there, giving them assistance to our own detriment. We getting beef with each other over, colors and where you from and who you know and what you did 20 years ago and you an old head now and this the young generation. Nah, bro. Nah, sis. No. Because ain't nobody winning in that. Even if you do catch a body, a knockdown, and you stay in the community and you praise to being this, that, and third, there's no statute of limitation on that. You got to watch over your shoulder for the rest of your life, man. Same thing if you get to the bag. There is no joy in that when you left envious people behind who understand and watch your come up, man. They gonna want in. So instead of you just being for you, bring them all with you, man. Because those are the people who loyalty should be meted out to. Loyalty is an honorable thing, a treasurable thing that an individual can only receive from earning. You can't just give people loyalty. You can't. If you do, you are a fool. Loyalty is a thing to be earned. You understand? And in that regard, you should take rejoice. You should take rejoice in knowing that the loyalty that you do have or the loyalty that you do extend is one that you earn or one that was earned. Because if we understood and allowed it to proceed in that manner, we wouldn't be seeing dudes like 6ix9ine or Bishop from Juice. We wouldn't. Because they would know not to even come around. And as unpopular as it may sound or is, listen, I'm here. Like I said, my credibility speaks for itself. I ain't never put nobody in prison and don't intend to. Nevertheless, I don't want to be engaged in activity that's going to even put me in that predicament. Because I already seen what it looks like on the other side of the fence, man. You people who don't know what it's like over there, I'm telling you, you don't want to go there. Living in a cage, man. You got to wait on people to do things for you. People turn their back on you. On stand-up dudes, man, turn their back on stand-up dudes, man. And so before it even gets that far, I think we need to just pull it back, man. Pull it back just a little, man. Pull it back and let's take stock on what's going on, man. Don't end up like 6ix9ine or T.I. or Bishop and Juice. Nah, homie. And so with that, I just want to pass that back to you, Knowledge.
I'm definitely glad, and you already know, no matter what's on your mind and your heart, there's always a place and a platform for you to speak truth to power. You understand what I'm saying?
Right,
You know,
brother. I
we fear
appreciate
nothing but
that.
Allah. You know,
Say
so
nothing but
we ain't
Allah.
worried about none of that. You understand what I'm saying? So we ain't worried about none of that. So I'm glad you was able to come make it plain, and you know, yours is the only perspective that I take from this whole situation. You understand what I'm saying? Uh, Including everybody's. You understand? So, uh, like the dynamics that are there, that's along with it, and the ramifications that come along with it, require some kind of insight. And Casson ain't put none of that time in, ain't got nothing to say. You understand?
Fact.
Like you can even have family members, like be like, oh yeah, my brother, blah blah blah. That's your brother, or my
That ain't
sister, or that's
you.
your sister. That
Yeah.
ain't you. You understand? So yeah, I definitely don't want to, you know, try to infer on a situation like that. You know what I mean? So,
Fact.
I'm definitely thankful, to Allah for you for coming through and having the courage to make it plain. You see what I'm saying? So, uh, uncomfortable truths is better than comfortable lies any day.
Any
You
day,
understand what I'm
brother.
saying? And
Fact, man.
we enjoying what is right and forbid what is wrong. So that's really how it kind of go, and that's the space and the place of the platform.
That's a fact. And
It's
I
truth
appreciate
over
you in
here.
that
Truth
regard,
is
knowledge,
truth.
because, like I'm
So
saying, like we
you got
know that it's unpopular to speak to. You see, because we hear people say, well, if I ain't a street person, I shouldn't be held to the expectation. And that's true to a certain extent. You see, when I was a kid, knowledge, watch this. I used to be out there on Myrtle Avenue, man, in Fort Greene Projects, right? And I sold drugs, man, and I wasn't proud of it. And so my mother never, agreed with my lifestyle. And so I used to try to come in, tiptoe in, leave money for inside the hamper, leave money for inside her little top drawer in her room. She used to call me, man, beat me. That's when the beepers was out, man. And she would hit me 911. And I call her back, what's up, man? And she go, boy, come and get this blood money out my house, man. I don't want nothing to do with that. You understand? Saying she wasn't benefiting off the proceeds that I was bringing in because she didn't agree with the lifestyle. You see what I'm saying? You get people that will take the proceeds and the benefits that come from it and then want to talk about, yo, I'm not a street person, so if you do something in my presence, I'm calling the police on you. So like they like a double-edged sword of detriment to nonsense. You gotta watch them. Because here it is, she gonna benefit, she want the earrings, she want she want her nails done, you know what I'm saying? He want the V, you know what I'm saying? He want to run around in different type of fitteds, he want the Herc on, but he want to say, yo, but I ain't in the street. And so the rules really don't apply to me. My brother gave me this money, so I'm gonna spend it. But if he do a crime, I'm telling, because I don't agree with that. If you don't agree with it, don't touch it. Stay away from it. Stay away from it. Stay away from it. Don't brag about, yo, so-and-so my brother, and so-and-so is my husband, and I'm Miss so-and-so, and I'm Mr. So-and-so, and I'm related to so-and-so, when you know you ain't built like that. Don't do that. Make your own way and live off your own reputation. Live off your own merit. Your brother would stand up, not you. Your husband would stand up, not you. And then you can't try and describe, oh, but they was in the street. Yeah, but you was benefiting off of them being in the street, so how dare you? If you ever wore a pair of earrings from a dude that was getting money in the street, and you turned around and did jury duty and found the street dude guilty, you fired. Because you want it both ways. You can't be trusted on no level. If you were interacting with people, it's called the RICO law, man. They did that back in the days with the Panthers, man. They would have COINTELPRO was, that's COINTELPRO was a motherfucker, man. How Edgar Hoover played on the psyche of man. And he would have people just walk up to a Panther, man, on the corner. Panther might be coming from a store, picking up some ice in bed, man. And Hoover have a white dude dressed up in a suit come up to a Panther and say, yo, bro, you know what time it is? And they taking pictures of the whole ordeal, man. Send that back to the party office, man. Looked like the Panther was talking to the Fuzz, man. Looked like he was talking to Gilmore, man. Like he was talking to Jake, man. Like he was talking to 12, and he wasn't. It was just a manipulation. That Rico thing, they can have me under investigation knowledge. I come and give you a dap right in the open street. They take a picture. You my co-defendant. You see what I'm saying? So if you ain't into the street life, don't even court the street life. You know, you got like females, you know, because that's always been, you know, a thing that came across my path. Like, oh, I like street niggas. I like bad boys. You know, bad boys got good girls. Opposites attract. You know, I'm out there ripping and running, coming back with the proceeds. And she like, yo, I want this one next. I want the bigger ones next. I get pinched. She ain't nowhere around. DA come knocking on the door. She got a statement to make. Come on, man. If you ain't into that type of stuff, don't even go near it. And it don't make you soft. It don't make you a bozo. If you're not into it, don't get with it. Because don't nobody like the hypocrite on no side of the line. If you're going to be the spook that sat by the door, be the spook that sat by the door. Don't bring me in drugs and weapons. Bring me in the key and the map to get on up out of here. Don't try to justify, yo, I'm from the hood. I grew up with these niggas, so yeah, I work here, so I'm gonna come on and do this. Nah, homie, you're not helping me. What you helping me? Destroy myself and those who look like me? Because that's what you're doing if you're bringing me drugs and a knife. Bring me the key. Bring me a number to a lawyer that will represent a poor person, a good lawyer. You see, and so with that, that's what I had to say, Knowledge, man. I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it. And I'm ready for whatever comes with it, man. You know, I appreciate it. I think so. Nah, now it's back right now.
Yeah, I got knocked off for a second.
Yeah, the fee.
So you got any final? Yeah, you got any final remarks before we close it out?
Man, I stand your 10 toes down, man. You know, like how you said in the beginning, I got the podcast coming, man, tentatively soon. You know, I'm just trying to cross all the T's and dot the I's, man, because when I come for it, man, I want it, man. You know what I'm saying? When I come for it, I want it. It's I'm going after unpopular topics. You know, unpopular topics. I would say shock jock, but Howard Stern say that, and I ain't a fan of Howard Stern. You know what I mean? But I want unpopular topics, man. You know what I'm saying? We got to get to it, man. We got to stop fooling around, man. I ain't into that. I see something, I believe I can achieve it, and I'm getting at it. And so tentatively real soon, we're going to have the podcast up and jumping. Even if I got to go for Dolo, you know, I wanted my niece with me. She got other endeavors and other things that she got going on in her life, and that's understandable because her life is her own, just as mine is my own. You know, but tentatively, you know, we're going to have the podcast jumping, and I want the viewers and listeners to do the Knowledge Radio. Come aboard and hear what Yah'ya got to say, a.k.a. TankHead Shaun. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean, Knowledge?
Word. Like you welcome anytime, you know what I'm saying, until you get it popping. You know what I
Thank
mean?
you, my
Come over
brother.
here, we could just chop it, whatever the case may be. You understand what I'm saying? So, this is a platform for you. You come from an honorable royal family. I got nothing but love for you and your fam.
I respect that, man, and I reciprocate that, my brother.
All right. So we about to bounce, man. Appreciate
Okay.
you coming through, Yah'ya.
Salam alaikum, man,
Walaikum salam wa rahmatullah.
and enjoy the id when it come up, bro. Inshallah.
Yeah. Inshallah.
You already, man.